Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Crypto's News. It's me, Omar Bam, aka Crypto, your friendly neighborhood crypto source for weekly updates on what has been going on. So we're going to go ahead and take a tour of some of the major things that have been going on in crypto this week to keep you up to date. So thank you so very much for coming back. Thank you for hitting that like button as always. And be sure to subscribe if you are new to the show. Let's go ahead and get into it by taking a look at the prices. So here we have Bitcoin at $65,325.38. It's up 3.2% over the last 7 days, although it's down 1.7% over the last 24 hours. It has been kind of whipsawing up. It broke over 60,000, went up to around $67,000 before it began to retreat. You can see that there on this small chart here on the right that there's a bit of a dip at the end there. That's what we're seeing right now as it's tapered off. There is some good news. We're going to get into that. Perhaps that might be the cause for why Bitcoin might see enhanced accumulation or at least more opportunities to acquire. That might be the reason for that move. And there's also the whole macro picture. So let's get into that in just a minute. We got Ethereum at $2,945.18. It's up. It's down 3.6% over the last 7 days. So it has not done and performed nearly as well as Bitcoin. I think a lot of that has to do with uncertainty around the security status of Ethereum. We're hearing more from the SEC that seems to be, I guess let's call it hawkish for Ethereum, trying to paint it into a picture whereby it might be a security soon, let alone not even get an ETF to pass, because these ETFs are supposed to be commodities based. But yeah, we're going to take a look at that in just a minute. So Ethereum is down now below $3,000. Again, it was over that yesterday. And we have gas prices, however, for Ethereum down to around 4 gwei. So if you've been trying to mint some NFTs, now is the time, since you'll be paying about $9 for this kind of transaction, depending, of course, how you set up that NFT and what you're doing. But anyway, whipsaw market. So let's go ahead and start looking. Actually, there was this article that I think was interesting. It covered more about what's going on with the lackluster performance here from Cointelegraph with the Bitcoin price. So yeah, it needs to rally another 12% to reclaim its highest closing price, Bitcoin, of $73,084. But yesterday we saw the S&P 500 soar to an all-time high on May 16th, total gain of 6% over 15 days for a brand new record. I believe today the Dow Jones Industrial Average also hit a new all-time high. Gold gained 4% in the same period, and it's only 1% away. Actually, I'm not even sure if this is completely accurate right now. I might have already passed it, but gold was 1% away from its highest closing price ever when this was written at $2,375. So yeah, there's all sorts of cases regulators in the United States have against crypto firms like Binance, Coinbase, and Kraken. We've talked about that at length. Robinhood crypto coming under scrutiny, and plenty more reasons that we might see hesitation around the price. We're seeing inflows into ETFs for Bitcoin dramatically drop off. For the most part, I mean, there was a lot of excitement in the beginning, but for about the last 2 months, it has not kept up pace with inflows, maybe because of some of this regulatory uncertainty. But anyway, let's take a look at the gold price. What is the gold price today? I'm actually curious. This looks like it is actually up, so maybe we are at an all-time high here for gold, or was it 2,400? Gold price all-time high. Let's go check USD. Take a look at it together. Oh yeah, we're not there, but we're still pretty close. So April 2024, it was $2,431.55. So a month ago. Gold. Anyway, Coinbase had it caused a fear out there, I guess you could say. People were getting upset all over crypto social media, on Twitter, elsewhere, becoming concerned because people were having issues interacting with Coinbase, sending stuff, buying, selling. So Coinbase support did put out on Twitter, Coinbase is experiencing a wide system outage. This is on May 13th, so about 3 days ago. We are investigating the issue and working on a solution. Please see status.coinbase.com for updates. Your funds are safe. So like that last sentence, everybody's like, okay, phew, funds are safe. Sweet, we're good. For me, I noticed actually when I was trying to use my card. So you have this card that you can use to spend USDC. that you have parked on Coinbase like a debit card almost. So I was trying to get myself some fast food, some like ridiculously expensive fast food, and it didn't work. And then I tried to go get a car wash and my card didn't work. And I was just like, oh, so probably not hacked. I feel like I would have gotten alerts and stuff like that. But it seems to be an issue with my card. Oh no, the expiration is still good. I'm still good. But I then encountered this news about Coinbase going down. Shortly afterwards, the site was operational and all aspects of Coinbase were operational. But for quite a while there, I look at it, 1227 PDT. It looks like there were issues. They had first posted anyway at 1227. And then about 2 hours later, they posted that the incident had been resolved. But I'm not sure that they actually immediately updated this when people started having issues. So I'm not sure when this began, but it was rectified and funds are safe. So yeah, I wonder if did you guys have any sort of fear around that? Did you guys have any sort of issues with Coinbase? I'm interested to know. Futures Exchange CME plans to launch Bitcoin trading. So this is something that whipsawed prices for Coinbase shares. So Coinbase stock had dropped. Apparently, according to this news, like 9% before it rebounded somewhat. And you saw Bitcoin tick up yesterday. That's why I did have that. I think this is really what drove some of this climbing up to around $67,000 for Bitcoin before it's again retreated recently. And that is because the Chicago Mercantile Exchange Group, the world's largest futures exchange, is purportedly, according to 3 sources that spoke to Financial Times, getting ready to launch Bitcoin spot trading. So not some sort of futures product, but being able to actually acquire spot Bitcoin on there. And it looks like they are reaching out to different traders to try to see what kind of demand there would be for this kind of product. And that's how this information leaked out here. So this is going to be custodied. It looks like if they do open this, it's going to be running through the EBS currency trading venue in Switzerland, which has extensive regulations governing the trading and storing of crypto assets. But it's just so funny. You have like something in the United States and it's going to be in Switzerland. Anyway, yeah, I think this is something that is actually quite perhaps even bullish, but it's something that does potentially take away market share from exchanges such as Kraken and Coinbase here, when one of the more trusted exchanges has been around for a lot longer and even outside of crypto, can assure and offer safeguards, at least when it comes to reputation and credibility for the older folks and more established traders and so on. They might want to pick up Bitcoin through there rather than sign up through Coinbase. I honestly like all the time when people are like, oh, what do you do? What do you do? Oh, that Bitcoin stuff, cryptocurrency, is that like Dogecoin? Like how do I even learn? Like, what is that? I like these days, I don't know that I have like 20 minutes worth of patience to try to like explain Bitcoin. I wish there was like a really quick brief that like hit and smacked. Besides you go and get rich, that gets people motivated or interested to learn more. So for the most part, I like don't go that route. But so many people have not even heard of Coinbase, which to me is remarkable. And it does go to show just how early, I guess, like awareness for these things are. Or maybe it just goes to show that most people are marketed scams more than more reputable places to learn and get involved with cryptocurrency. But I'm like, yeah, go to Coinbase, go learn. Right. And there's also other options like Robinhood. So Robinhood itself is also offering learning courses. And speaking of Robinhood, I'll jump ahead to this. Robinhood Crypto has launched their first crypto staking product, but it's going to be in Europe. So if you're here in the United States with me, boo-hoo. We're getting more and more siloed every single day in crypto. Thank the regulators and scammers. But anyway, so this is going to feature support for Solana, first of all, because everyone wants to stake Solana, right? That's like the number one thing these days. It's got the Ethereum folks shaking. Like, what has Ethereum done? We're losing to Solana. I'm actually hearing more of that, which to me is like, maybe I should just get Ethereum, but I digress. I really don't know what's going to happen, so don't ever take investment advice based on all of this that I'm talking about, but yada, yada. What I was trying to mention before was that on Robinhood, just like with Coinbase, you also have learn and earn modules, so you can earn crypto, small amounts, but whatever, more than we used to get through the Bitcoin faucets and the like, which are like micro. Although that faucet Bitcoin from the early days is probably worth a lot more than what some of these tokens you're earning through these learned platforms are offering, or will grow into, rather. I digress. So I just wanted to give you a heads up there, especially if you're in Europe and you had not heard about this. This is going to be available to you. And it looks like customers are going to be earning a 10% bonus on net buys over their first 30 days on the platform. And this bonus will be paid out in USDC. Too bad you cannot stake that just yet there on Robinhood Crypto Europe. But yeah, they're getting the hell out of Dodge here in the United States because, as you know, we just talked about in the last video how they're getting in trouble here as well for potentially offering securities. God. Anyway, speaking of securities, speaking of the SEC and the Securities Exchange Commission, I don't know why, I just can't get used to that guy's face. It's like I kind of want to look away. So I'm just going to scroll. But anyway, the big thing right now is discussion around whether Ethereum ETFs are going to be passing in line with what we saw with the Bitcoin ETFs that were up for proposal and they were delayed constantly and then denied, and they were up for proposal and then delayed and then denied and yada, yada. So finally it got approved, potentially setting a precedent or at least some sort of roadmap for something like Ethereum, number 2 crypto by market cap, so supported, reputable, for that to also have some sort of ETF. So that's been like one of the big bets right now, is if you get into Ethereum and it is for some reason not a security and it is allowed to be an ETF, then it could potentially balloon and it could have outsized demand, especially with so much other things that have happened. I think that you could see huge spikes for Ethereum. But anyway, it looks like chances have been dropping and dropping potentially for this ETF, according to market participants, those who are trading on markets like Polymarket, for example, or you can bet that whether it will get approved, some sort of Ethereum ETF by May 31st, and the chances are down to a 10% yes chance. So if you would like to take the opposite side of this bet and buy the token that bets yes, it will get approved, then you get a huge multiplier. Oh, it looks like it went down. Did it really just go down right now? I swear I just saw it say 6%. Did you guys catch that? It said maybe I was just hovering over the wrong part. That's probably what it was. But anyway, 10% chance. So you'll get like a 10 times increase on what you invest in that if it does get approved. But I mean, there's like a reason it's probably down to such a low level, and it would be extremely risky. I cannot advise anyone to try to take that sort of chance, because there might be participants here that already know, right, that it's not going to get approved, and they're trying to make some money on this bet. But anyway, it looks like the first application that is due for review is for this Ethereum ETF is going to be the VanEck application that's coming on May 23rd, so in about a week, in 7 days. The final decision deadline for ARK Invest ETF for Ethereum and the 21 shares ETF is the next day, so it's going to be on May 24th in about 8 days. You also have a bunch of other applications, BlackRock, Fidelity, and Grayscale, that are going to be up for review. Now, I think what's interesting is that this decrypt.co article talks about how the SEC is getting ready to like not approve an Ethereum ETF. What's up, guys? I'm so sorry if I did not tune into the chat. I promised that I would last time, since some people thought I had recorded the video, but I was just trying to save time, because sometimes these videos do get wordy, and I know I want you guys to like stay with me here so we can get through the news and you guys stay up to date and don't get too lost. But yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to y'all who did make it out. Thanks, Renee. Nice to see you. The beard is not AI generated, Skynet, but thank you. It makes me feel good. I trimmed it I lined it up a little bit today. Coinbase needs competition. Yeah, they're definitely getting competition. I think it's hard for them. They're trying to like be the trusted place, above all, that has not had major security violations or fraud involved with them, trying to talk to regulators. And I think that's really like the thing that for them puts them above a lot of the other crypto exchanges. But when it comes to going up against something like the CME, I really don't. I don't think that the CME is going to be posing that much of an obstacle. Coinbase is there to make it easy for the average person, for people to learn and everything else. And when you look at like CME, like it's not as easy to navigate or understand what you're doing there. So I don't think this is really geared for retail by any means, but we are seeing that right now a lot of interest is more from the institutional sides. It seems, at least until we break all-time high again. So I don't think Coinbase is really going to struggle too much here by word of mouth and so on. I think that they've secured their place, but I think seeing that they don't have some sort of monopoly here is a good thing. I do hate to see all these crypto exchanges go down constantly due to like, oh, sorry, you didn't follow the regulations we created last year, so you're out. Come here, CME. Come here, BlackRock. Yeah, guys, got him. We got him, kind of thing. So I would like to see more opportunities. But right now, like trying to start a crypto exchange is harder and harder. The costs, of course, with regulations alone, let alone having to manage a blockchain, customer service, and everything else, make it like almost unfeasible unless like you're some sort of wealthy VC, and they're the kinds that really fund and have really always funded some of these exchanges like Coinbase and like Kraken. But until you see a big push for that, we're like not as likely to see these kind of crypto native exchanges anymore is kind of my thought. But anyway, yeah, I'll leave it at that because we do have more to get into right now. I would like to see more competition, decentralized exchanges. that would probably be the easiest way for people to do it, but it's hard now to keep your anonymity and to try to do something or publish something because you could come under fire. We'll look at that with Tornado Cash in just a minute. But anyway, we'll see what goes on here with Ethereum. Because we're looking at the poly market here, we're seeing a 10% chance of an approval, and you can look everywhere else. Most people don't think that an Ethereum ETF is going to be happening, or you would see buckets coming into Ethereum. The ratio of BTC versus ETH would look much sexier, at least in ETH terms, than it does right now. So I think like a lot of this is priced in. That's a long way to say that. I don't think that there's going to be some sort of major sell-off event, but I am crossing my fingers with that because anything could happen when you're talking about shorts and longs, futures, when you're talking about potential liquidations with traders going on here that could push the market south, back down to Goblin Town beyond where we possibly think. But at the same time, my gut tells me it'll probably be like a minor sell the news event, like probably less than 10%, and then it's going to be rebounding from there and trying to find its new support and then climbing along with the rest of the market throughout the rest of the year, at least until the Fed starts raising interest rates, and then it's not just going to be like going up, it's going to be exploding. Anyway, that's my thinking anyway. Like I didn't even mention before, it's part of the reason, for example, that you did see when it came to the stocks, you had the Dow Jones making a new all-time high. You had S&P 500 making an all-time high. This has to do with the fact that we saw CPI data come out, and it was not good. It is not good, and that's I think a market reaction that happened. But cryptos have just not kept up as much, I think, pending some of this, a lot of these cases with the SEC and so on. But we'll get into some of that with the SEC and them not looking so good later on, so stay tuned. But there was something positive also that happened here for Bitcoin. This was yesterday as well. Maybe something that also drove Bitcoin price higher was Bitcoin self-custody was enshrined as a right in Oklahoma. A novel crypto bill protects citizens' rights to hold, spend, and mine Bitcoin as long as they do it quietly. I don't know what they mean by that. But anyway, they're the first U.S. state to pass a law protecting the right to control your own digital assets using a hardware wallet. The state government cannot ban or restrict the use of crypto to purchase legal goods and services. I think this is important. I think it's fantastic to see this come out and be like a good example of how we can create better regulations to protect citizens and to allow right for freedom, financial freedom, and so on, for many reasons. It shall be legal also in the state of Oklahoma to participate in home digital asset mining, as long as the person engaging in home digital asset mining complies with all local noise ordinances. So yeah, you can only run those fans at 100%. Do not try to run them at 150% or you might have somebody knocking on your door and slapping you on the wrist. But anyway, of course, this is to help with tax revenues and energy taxes and so on in this kind of state. But it goes to show how the government can benefit by regulating in a better way, by creating clearer rules. And this was based off a template for this bill that was created by Satoshi Action Fund, which, along with the Oklahoma Bitcoin Association, is there to help educate lawmakers on the benefits of Bitcoin. And this template played a major part in making Oklahoma the first state to pass the bill into law. So yeah, support that as well. All these different movements to help educate the politicians, the older politicians. That, granted, I mean, I don't live that life, but I'm sure they have so much on their plate and so many different issues to deal with, let alone their own partisan issues that they have to follow with to play ball. And that's a stressful life I would not want for myself. So patience and education, of course. Tornado Cash developer Alexei Portsev. So 2 days ago, he was found guilty, finally, has been sentenced to 64 months in prison by the Dutch court. So he was first arrested or jailed in August 2022. Charges were not immediately filed for him. He was one of the founders of the Tornado Cash smart contract platform and code that basically allowed people to mix Ethereum and have it be less traceable, let's call it, right? And this potentially led to groups that had sanctions on them using it, like Iran, the North Korean Lazarus group, the North Korean hacking group. So they had apparently routed funds through Tornado Cash to obfuscate movements, to do money laundering, and that's exactly what this founder here, Alexei, was charged with, was like money laundering. It turns out the judge said that Tornado Cash did not pose any barrier for people with criminal assets who wanted to launder them. This is why the court regarded the defendant guilty of the money laundering activities as charged. It looks like some of that time, or that time that he has spent in jail ahead of the sentencing, is going to be deducted from the time he's going to be spending that 64 months in jail. He is also able to appeal right now. I don't know exactly how it works in Dutch court. I'm not going to claim to be some sort of lawyer. If you're interested, I'm sure you can find that out for yourself. But I do wonder if he can get his sentence reduced. I still think 4 years is or how long is that, right? 64 months. That's actually more than 4 years. That's freaking 5 years and 4 months. Is that? Am I right? I don't know. My maths is getting bad there. My maths. So yeah, that's a rather long time. And it's kind of a shame to see that. In some cases, like, how could you stop your code when it's an open smart contract platform from checking some sort of like Iran group like list, like of bad people are constantly being updated and paying for that to get that data into the smart contract to block certain accounts? Like, definitely possible to do, but back when this was created, not as easy. So he's being held responsible here. He's being made an example of. And yeah, it looks like before he heads over to his official prison, which we don't know, in the Netherlands. I don't know. Isn't like nobody in? I thought everything was legal in the Netherlands. Am I like wrong here? I don't know. But anyway, before he gets the prison that he'll be in, it looks like the lead prosecutor or something is going to have to find a prison suitable for his crimes. Whatever that means, right? He's too dangerous. Oh, he creates code. Oh, there cannot be computers around. Oh, no. God forbid. Anyway, I had talked about Monero, and I had talked about how local Monero had shut down recently, an option to buy and sell Monero that was available. And when they shut down, I mentioned that there were going to be decentralized options that might be coming on board soon. And so the documentation for Haveno, one of these decentralized atomic swap-like exchanges, a documentation, so like how do you create one of these exchanges, has been uploaded. You can find that on the Monero subreddit. And then it's a matter of seeing who puts it up. I don't know how many times it gets put up, anonymously or otherwise. Someone starts running it, people run nodes, yada, yada, and then it becomes cemented as like the main one. But it's a risky proposition, of course, for people to try to run something like this because of regulations, not just in one jurisdiction, but like you can have other jurisdictions internationally coming after you these days in crypto. So I can see why this might take time to get up there. But from what I read here, it looks like there were already like here, one of the groups is publishing their build of Aveno tomorrow. This was put up 3 days ago, this post. So I haven't checked it out to see if Aveno is working, but I wanted to give you a heads up if maybe you're into Monero and you wanted to know what options might be available or what's going on with that. So a bit of an update there. And also, I had just read about this. There was this vote to kill a bill. It was called 121, a Senate. It was SAB 121, and it was overturned in the Senate. 60-38, you had Democrats crossing the party lines and voting to basically overturn a policy that would stop financial institutions. So SAB, let me actually read what it says here. SAB 121 held that a company keeping a customer's cryptocurrencies should record them on its own balance sheet, which would have major capital implications for banks working with crypto clients. They might not want to touch it. It might create all sorts of other headaches and clarity issues with following these kinds of laws. So there was clear, overwhelming opposition to this. Apparently, it still needs to go to President Biden, who will be vetoing it. But this was something that was put forth, firstly, by the SEC, by Chair Gary Gensler and his squad. I think that this was a good note here, where you had Representative Wiley Nickel, a Democrat, who said that the House should never have to resort to what they did right here with the Congressional Review Act and in order to get this repealed, and reiterated his call to the SEC to withdraw the bulletin before it goes to Biden's desk. Today's Senate vote to repeal SAB 121 sends a clear bipartisan message. Congress will not stand by idly as Gary Gensler and the SEC deliberately sidestep the statutory rulemaking process and overstep the regulatory authority. Very well said. Another loss, I would say, for Gary here. Ripple had handed them a kind of partial loss recently as well. And I just like to see the SEC lose. I don't know about you guys, but like I could watch that stuff all day, which is weird because the government is here to protect me, right? I don't understand. I'm having weird dissonance in my brain. I thought this was just funny. Oh no, I completely forgot to pull up the video again. This always happens, right? I am going to show like the main camera for a second, but this is what happens when you run your own show. Sorry, guys. But anyway, yeah, I don't think you missed very much that I didn't say in words. But here is a bull. So this bull was unveiled in Miami at the Bitcoin conference. Actually, I was there. I believe that was 2021, 2022. I don't know. Crypto time flies. I'm pretty sure it was 2021, the Bitcoin Miami conference. And this bull is interesting because it was supposed to represent crypto, big toro, but it had no balls. It's supposed to be like the one that you see on Wall Street. It is also quite huge and spectacular. People are taking pictures of it in Miami, but it's interesting because it has no balls, which, as people have pointed out, is quite fitting, right? Because that was like the throes of the bull market, and shortly afterward, we found out that the bull had no balls. The bull market had no balls, just like this one. So very appropriate, very apropos. So thank you guys so very much. I mean, that's a lot of what's gone down, the major stuff this week. Of course, there's an endless amount of announcements from different companies and regulators and everything else across the whole world that I cannot possibly get into. So if I missed something that you think is important that others should know, please comment down below. And also, if you guys would review those comments and upvote what is helpful, that would be super awesome. for that. Thank you again, guys, for joining me live. I really appreciate that. And I will finish here with the quote of the day by Francis Bacon while we let the rest of this week simmer and play out. Silence is the sleep that nourishes wisdom. Take care, everyone. Much love and stay cryptic. Peace.